Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Evangelion Real Grade review, and today I'm taking a look at the RG Evangelion Production Model 02. Once again, if you want to see a review of any of the other two EVA units that came out as real grades, you can check them out on here, but for now, let's check this one out. And before we actually do that, if you do want one of your own, there is a link down there in the description. You can get yours at Hobby Link Japan. And as always, there is a 5% off coupon down there as well. Now, here we go. So right off the bat, there is EVA Unit 2 out of the box, just snapped together with a little bit of panel lining, that is all. And it is becoming a case of, once you've seen one real grade EVA, then technically you've seen them all. A lot of this build right here is exactly what we would have seen with the previous two real grade releases, and that is a very good thing. It looks outstanding, it feels great. And I don't think I can ever get sick of this absolutely awesome build. It is nothing like gunpla. It's so organic, so anatomical, so unique. These kits are awesome. If you have not tried them out, I highly recommend that you do. Of course, the biggest departure this time compared to what we would have seen with EVA Unit 0 and EVA Unit 1 is the color. There's just something about the fiery red of EVA Unit 2 that I absolutely adore. The weighting of color on here is quite nice. Mainly in red with white and yellow highlighting, and the colors once again are fantastic. I will mention that I did do a little bit of panel lining in brown on this kit, but besides that, this is essentially what you will see out of the box. So far, this is probably one of the most intricate head sculpts on one of these kits yet, and if you don't like tiny parts, well, you might find this a little bit on the difficult side, especially those eyes. And speaking of those eyes, this is a very tiny little complaint, but they are not entirely color accurate. So the whole front section of these are green, as opposed to the upper one being split into a tiny bit of white and green, and the lower one being split into a tiny bit of red and green. Either way, that's pretty simple to paint up yourself, and even if you don't, it's still next to unnoticeable. Of course, there are some model kit looking aspects of this kit, like on the forearm, and more so than any other of these kits so far, in under the chest, because it does have a smaller piece of chest armor, so these may not appeal to some. So next up, there's a comparison to EVA Unit 0 and EVA Unit 1. Of course, both of these are the real grade kits, and I will mention while he's here, these do loosen up quite a bit over time, so after a while you may have to disassemble these. Ooh, sorry there. But yeah, after a while, if you play with these quite a bit, you may have to disassemble them and reassemble them to tighten them back up again. Next up, there it is side by side with a robot Damashi EVA, a Figma figure, a 1/44th scale Gundam around the size of a high grade, and a master grade Gundam. So the real grade EVAs, pretty big. So now moving on to the accessories, and here is EVA Unit 2 with absolutely everything that it comes with. And this is pretty much identical to what we would have seen with the non-DX versions of Unit 0 and Unit 1. The only difference is that in here we get the Thunder Spear as well as a hand for holding it, and we have the EVA Unit 2's variants of the progressive knives, but hey, let's check everything out. But before we do check out everything that comes in this box, we do have a couple of things left over. So that is the standard and the folded progressive knives we would have seen with the last two kits, the hands for holding them, lacking the knuckles, as well as a pair of optional parts. So I'm missing the white one. These are so small that, maybe I inhaled it by accident. But what these are actually for is to use instead of those green eyes there. If you don't like the really small parts, you can use this larger part and then slap some of the stickers on it. Or more than likely, these are going to be used as replacement parts when you lose these tiny green ones. So as for hands that are purely for the sake of posing, we've got this pair of fists, super widespread dynamic, somewhat clenched, open but relaxed, and those iconic Evangelion running hands. Next up then in here we've got that pallet rifle like we've seen time and time again with the last two kits. The only thing really worth noting here is that the little ammo belt section in the rear of the pallet rifle, the color of that with these kits depends on the color of the plastic used in the neck of the EVA. So in this kit right here it's brown, with EVA Unit 0 it was a lighter shade of brown, and with EVA Unit 1 it was orange. Once again, to attach this into the hand, it's just that standard sandwich style hand scenario. And this holds it okay, just make sure to support that hand when posing the kit. So now moving along, we've got those progressive knives. These are new for this kit. The hands for holding them, also new for this kit. Straight built, these are just in dark gray like you're seeing right here. Nothing too interesting about them. But on the sheet of stickers, we do get some nice silver ones for on the blades that actually don't look too bad. It is worth noting though, these don't go all the way onto the blade section, these only are viewable from the flat side, but still, they do look pretty cool. Speaking of stickers, this would not be a real grade without an absolutely massive sheet of them, and we've got decals, shiny silver ones. There is an example of some of the shiny ones inside of that armor on the darker sections. And we do have one for on the entry plug and for on the arms, similar to what we would have seen with EVA Unit 1. So the last thing we have in here, and I guess what makes this kit kind of like a DX set but not, is that Thunder Spear. So it can be held by the handle up top like you're seeing right now, or held like the pallet rifle in the exact same hand that holds the pallet rifle. To change this between modes, it's a really nice sliding, flip out gimmick that is pretty cool. Have to say, this is an awesome little weapon. The color separation on it is very nice as well. We've got two shades of grayish blue, yellow down the handle, and some black on the bladed section. Also in here, and somehow I forgot to mention it, is the umbilical cord. So this is exactly what we would have seen with the last two kits, just like what's attached into the back of EVA Unit 2 right here. So as for the articulation on this kit, it is exactly what we would have seen with the last two kits. So if you want to know more about the in-depth points of articulation on this kit, then check out my review of the real grade EVA Unit 1. But for now, I will say that the articulation on this is fantastic. The only real issue, just like with the other kits, is that little piece of the upper arm that just constantly falls off. Besides that, it is awesome. You'll get all your EVA style poses out of this with no effort whatsoever, but I will mention that if you do pose these quite a bit, they will loosen up over time. Not a permanent kind of loosening up where something is damaged, just more of parts come a bit loose, so you may have to disassemble it and reassemble it once again after just squeezing everything back together. But on the whole, this thing is phenomenal. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and once again, this right here is third Impactium tier. That's what I called it, right? Basically, this right here is Gundarium tier, which means this is better than I expect from a grade, which is getting harder and harder to say these days when it comes to real grade. It's the most crazy grade of them all. It just keeps on evolving and giving more and more with every release. The bottom line with these kits is, if you love Evangelion and you love model kits, these are kits you have to have. They're so perfect in every way, besides that loose little bit at the back of the arm. Thankfully, this isn't all we're going to see of these kits. There's some more coming up in future. They haven't been fully announced just yet, but look forward to them. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours at HobbyLink Japan. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. This isn't Gunpla, is it? Model kit reviews! Come back for them! See you next time! Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch my videos, like them, or support the channel on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Like Craig Jury, Greg Humphrey, Kaiser721, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T, and the ambassador for Asymmetric Cats.